Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. This week's show, I want to talk about negative thoughts and how automatic negative thoughts can really affect you and your team. So without any more delay, let's get on with this week's show. Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. I do hope you are so well. I hope you're delivering the results you want through the people around you and you're getting things done. Because that's what managers do. We get things done, don't we? We get out there day in, day out, and we make sure that the things that need to get done. And sometimes we do stuff that we don't really want to do. But that's just the way we work. And that's the way we roll. Sounds better, doesn't it? So this week, I want to talk about negative thoughts and how they affect us as leaders. Now, you'll have heard many times when I speak on this podcast about the fact that you're a human being, and so you will have thoughts. And some of those thoughts are going to be negative. And in a world at the minute that is quite crazy, I'm not sure how crazy we can get, but we are quite crazy. There's a lot of negativity about everything you turn on, every news channel, every feed on your social media is around the craziness of the world and the negativeness of the world and what people are doing in it. So it can be quite daunting to go to work and have a more positive outlook. But what do I mean by negative thoughts? Well, automatically, some people jump to a negative thought pattern, and in some psychologists, they'll call this the ant or the ant reaction. So it's automatic negative thoughts. These are things that as soon as anything happens, it doesn't matter what, they'll jump to the negativity. Now that is bred into us as humans. You get the feeling in millennia past that you needed to look out for threats. You needed to make sure that every bush didn't contain a tiger that was going to eat you and everything that you was eating wasn't going to kill you. So there's obviously that kind of thing bred into us. But when it comes to a working environment, we as leaders and managers need to be very aware of the fact that although we may feel this automatic negative thought whenever we hear it, how we put ourselves over, how we present ourselves, how we turn up to work can have a massive effect on the people around us. The shadow that you cast as a leader can be huge. So if you are one of those ones who automatically goes into drain mode, oh, that's never going to work, oh, we've done all this before, oh, not again, what do those managers know? Then all the people around you will pick that up and they will be almost taken down by it. I don't know if you're the same as me, but what I sometimes do is have a break from social media, from news channels, because they are there predominantly, 99% of it, to give you negative news, to give you scare. Yes, of course, there's facts and there's data, and you need to be in the loop. But the negativity can really drive you down. There's nobody who walks away from a newscast normally, unless they've just listened to the last story that might be a little bit more upbeat, that actually goes, oh gosh, that's bringing me down. And it's the same at work. If you turn up and you start to drain the people around you and you automatically jump to this negativity, you're going to drag them down. There's no doubt about it. They can't help it. They're going to be dragged down to your level. And there is drains and radiators in the world. I consider myself quite a radiating person. I'm quite positive about most things. But I have times where I am negative about things. That's just normal. But it's how I process the news. If it's going to be bad news, for instance, how I process that news, how I compartmentalise it, and how I go to my team and think, right, how can I make this message deliver in the right way? Now, we're not talking it all being unicorns and rainbows. There is times where you're going to deliver hard messages as a leader. You're going to make hard choices. You're going to make people sometimes not have a job. And sometimes you're going to have to do things that you sometimes don't really think is the right thing to do, because that's the way it is. And doesn't mean you're a yes person. It just means you're going to challenge in the right way, in the right safe environments. And if that decision is going to happen, you're then going to apply that decision and make it happen down there. Most of the time it's positive news. Most of the time you're trying to make your teams better. You're trying to get the business moving forward. But there is times where you're going to give negative news. But if you're constantly a drain, and they're constantly being that person, you are going to have an issue when it comes to anything, because they're automatically going to think, oh no, here he comes again. Here he comes again. He's no positive outlook at all, this guy. And the group think can be very big. I've seen groups where they've had leaders who have been on that negative spiral, and the people around them have followed it. They have become the negative. They have closed themselves because they see the bosses and leaders doing it, and they think, right, well, that must be the way we do things around here. Look at how you lead. Look at how you project yourself. Look at how you walk into a room. Do you walk into a room and go, oh, not again, here we go? Or do you walk in a room and go, right, let's do this. What are we going to do differently? We've got a hard quarter ahead. We've got to make these sales numbers meet. Our sales are down 20%. How are we going to do it? What can we do as a team to get better? If you went in and went, oh, sales are down 20%, flipping out, that's it, all over. I'm re-listening to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams. If you haven't listened to it or read it, it's a brilliant book. It's a great TV series, which is a British adaptation. There's a good film as well, quite a modern film that's been out. And there's Marvin, the robot, the brain the size of a planet, and he's got this special chip that makes him have a personality, but his personality is the person who just go, here we go again, God, I can't believe this is happening to me. And if you're doing that at work as a leader, in a position, then what's going to happen around you? Firstly, you're going to annoy everyone around you as a radiator. You're really going to turn them off. And if you're in a position of power, they're going to think, oh my God, what's this guy doing? How am I going to be doing this? If you walk in a room and you've got the Marvin head on, oh, can't be bothered, what's the point? You're going to bring everyone else down. So how do you challenge yourself to be that way around? If you are naturally, and there is some people who are naturally that way out, I know a few of them myself, and there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, it's human nature. And it's the way they've been brought up. Maybe they've had things that have gone wrong with them, and they think to themselves, well, I've been here before, I've been burnt, so I'm not going to be as acceptable of any change or anything new. I'm going to be the person who is quite sceptical. And what I normally do is, as a team, and especially as a close team, normally a senior team, I'll allow those people to have those thoughts. I'll allow those people to have those negativity until I get to know what they are. I'll allow them to have human moments and still allow them to have human moments. But then there's a point where we go, okay, guys, you've had your say. I take on board where you're coming from. But this is where we're going. This is the path we are on. These are the projects we need to deliver. They might not be perfect. They might not be what you would do. But at this moment in time, this is not our choice. This is a choice that we need to deliver for the greater good of the business, whatever that may look like. And how do you become part of that? Because if you're not going to be part of that solution, then you are going to be part of the problem. And unfortunately, when I've had in other teams and especially senior teams, if I can't get them on that journey, I've had to let them go as well, because there is nothing worse than trying to lead a team with a number of Marvin, the robots, who are dragging you down, that have actually gone past the point of realisation that they need to improve, and they're starting to slip into this drain mode. You can't have it. You need to give the orders, you've got to deliver the orders, you've got to deliver the projects, you've got to make sure you do what you need to do. And sometimes you might have to walk out of the room and think, I'm not happy about this. Let me see if there's a better way of structuring it. Let me see if there's a better way of making it happen. But you're still going to make it happen. And hopefully, as I said, most of it is for positive, it's for a good cause. It's to make something more efficient. It's to improve the service, increase the safety. I mean, I've had safety discussions with people where they're so set in the ways of doing things, they can't even see the danger. And when you come along and go, we can't do that anymore, it's dangerous. Oh no, we've always done it this way. Why would we change? There's no reason. We've never had an accident. This is nonsense. And they're very, very anti being safe, which is a strange thing to be. Isn't it? When you look at it, I'm going to try and make it safer for you so it reduces the risk of anyone, yourself or your team or anyone around it, having an accident, and they're against it. And when you step back and maybe reframe it that way, people start to realise, actually, it's for the better good. It might take you a little extra time to do it. It might be a bit more of a faff until you find the best way. But the last thing you want to do is not be safe. Same with quality of product. When people turn around and go, oh, there's only 1,000 complaints on that one. Okay, 1,000 complaints. Yeah, but we've made 10 million, so it isn't that bad. Okay, but if you got one of those 1,000 incorrect, say cars, for instance, and it don't work, how much do you spread? How negativity do you spread to others? So we've got to be aware of that. And again, that comes down to your mindset. As I said, I don't expect everyone to be jumping around. I don't expect everyone to be so highly strung and absolutely go, let's go, high five. Sorry if there's any American listeners. I know that there's a stereotype of an American high-fiving and all cheering and all that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It don't fit into every culture, it don't fit into every society, and it can be seen as a negative vibe by some. But you can't always be like that. You do need to be realistic. You do need to be able to challenge and say to your boss, is this the right path? Are we really going in the right direction? Because this something don't quite feel right. But if you're constantly going to be the drain, you're constantly going to walk into rooms and people are going to go, oh no, he's here again. Oh, she's here again. Oh, flipping hell, I hate spending time with her. You're not going to get much out of your team. You're not going to get much out of your boss. And you're definitely not going to get much out of your career. Not to mention your own personal mindset, because it's exhausting being negative about everything. But I know my listeners are not negative, because I know you give me some great feedback. So, as feedback is such a gift, please keep sending it to managermattpodcast@gmail.com. Love to engage on new and old topics. Love to take your thoughts on how you can be not jump to that automatic negative thought we talked about. Are you ants or are you something different? Well, that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thanks so much for listening, and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider, as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.